Alright, let's talk about something that's making Wall Street nervous, factory workers anxious, and everyday Americans more than a little confused. Trump's love affair with tariffs. It's no secret that Donald Trump has always been obsessed with the idea of America first. And part of that involves slapping tariffs on countries like Mexico, Canada, and China. But here's the big question. Is this strategy making the United States economy stronger? Or are we slowly digging our own grave? Today, we're breaking it all down. How tariffs are affecting the rich, the poor, businesses, and the economy as a whole. Is America winning or losing in this high-stakes economic game? Let's dive in. A tariff is just a fancy word for a tax on imported goods. When Trump raises tariffs on Mexican avocados, Canadian aluminum, or Chinese steel, it means companies importing these goods have to pay extra to bring them into the United States. Now, in theory, tariffs are supposed to make American-made products more attractive because foreign goods become more expensive. Sounds good, right? But here's the kicker. Tariffs don't just hurt foreign companies. They hurt American consumers too. Why? Because when businesses pay more for imports, they pass the cost right down to you. So that smartphone you love, that car you drive, even that burger you just ate, all of it could cost more thanks to tariffs. And let's not even talk about what this means for inflation. Spoiler alert, it's not good. Now, here's where things get interesting. Trump insists that his tariffs are making America richer. He argues that forcing companies to manufacture in the US will boost job growth and keep money circulating domestically. But is that what's really happening? Let's look at the numbers. The stock market is volatile, with industries like automobiles and tech taking major hits from rising production costs. Companies reliant on foreign materials, like car manufacturers, are losing billions and cutting jobs instead of hiring more workers. Farmers are suffering because countries like China, Canada, and Mexico are retaliating with their own tariffs, meaning they aren't buying US agricultural products like they used to. So, while Trump's tariffs were meant to protect American jobs, in reality, they're putting many at risk. Now, let's talk about how all of this affects different economic classes. Because let's be real, not everyone is hurting equally. Large corporations that can shift production overseas, they'll be fine. Billionaires and hedge fund managers who know how to move their money around, barely a scratch. Some wealthy investors are actually profiting from stock market fluctuations caused by tariffs. Everyday Americans are getting the short end of the stick. Prices for goods, especially electronics, food, and cars, are going up. Job losses in industries that rely on international trade, like farming and manufacturing, mean higher unemployment. Wages, they're struggling to keep up with inflation. So basically, if you're already rich, you're probably doing just fine. But if you're working paycheck to paycheck, buckle up, because it's going to be a rough ride. Psych say, one of the biggest risks of Trump's tariff policies isn't just economic, it's political. The US has long been the leader in global trade, but thanks to tariffs, we're losing allies left and right. Mexico and Canada. These two are our biggest trade partners, and Trump's aggressive tariff policies have strained relations. Both countries have responded with tariffs of their own, which means American exports like dairy and beef are struggling to compete. China. The ongoing trade war with China is affecting everything from tech to agriculture. Companies like Apple are feeling the heat, and everyday consumers are paying the price. Europe. Trump's threats of tariffs on European cars and steel have put US-EU relations on thin ice. So, while Trump's strategy is meant to put America first, it might just be putting us last in the global economy. So, where is all of this leading? Let's look at 3 possible outcomes. Best case scenario. Other countries cave to US demands, American businesses start booming, and job growth skyrockets. This is the outcome Trump is hoping for. Worst case scenario. The trade war escalates, businesses close, prices soar, and we head into a full-blown economic recession. The most likely scenario, a mixed bag. Some industries will adjust and find ways to cope, while others suffer heavy losses. The economy won't collapse overnight, but the middle class will continue to struggle as prices rise and jobs become less secure. If you ask Trump, he'll tell you the economy is booming. But if you ask the average American worker, farmer, or small business owner, the story is very different. The bottom line is this: tariffs are a gamble. They might boost the economy in some areas, but they're causing real pain for consumers, businesses, and international relations. So, is America headed for economic collapse? Not yet. But if Trump keeps pushing tariffs without a clear long-term strategy, we might be closer than we think.